Hey, hope everybody is having a good night. Hopefully, getting ready for bed. I am so sleepy, but just can't seem to fall asleep yet. Just got some things on my mind. Like, why did everything get harder? It seems like everything was easier when I didn't have any spiritual life at all. My life was not as hard. It's like after I found out about God and about Jesus, like really found out, it's like that's when I started getting attacked. That's when life started just not going my way. It seems like I can do everything right and things will still go wrong. I can have the cure for cancer. Nobody ever give me credit. I used to be able to drop habits just like that. Now I can't even control my hunger. It's just like, and it's really weird. I mean, like, I quit drinking on accident. I didn't even want to. It's like I just woke up one day and forgot to drink. I was an opioid addict. And it's just like, it just went away. You know, everybody I've ever heard who is a recovering opioid addict, they still, to this day, they would love to have one, you know? You couldn't pay me. And now I'm here struggling to fast for a day. I used to fast all the time on accident. Like, I would be like, okay, I guess I'm fasting because I've been doing it all day anyway, you know? Now it's just like I'm starving and I don't know what it is or why. It's like I had self-control. I don't know where I put it though. I never knew. It seems like as soon as I started reading my Bible and learning about sin, that's when I started sinning the most. It's like, I feel like that's all I do. If it's not mentally, then it's physical, you know what I mean? Like, I catch myself gossiping a lot. And I don't even like gossiping, you know? And I, all day long, by myself, will not curse. I'll say words like heckety heck. But the minute I get around people, it's just like I just start sprinkling cuss words on my sentences. It's crazy. I'm 35 and I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I feel like I'm being called feel like I'm being called. And I am terrified. Because what do I look like leading a congregation, you know? I can't even chill out around pizza. Man. I don't know what to do. I keep saying I don't think I'm supposed to do anything, really. Because, I just really don't know. I don't want to get to the end and they just be like, Megan, you didn't do anything. And I'm just like, well, I thought you were gonna. You know, I feel like I'm so scared I'm gonna screw something up, you know? I'm so terrified that I'm going to mess it up that I just don't do anything. I'm actually really good at it. I'd make a really good motivational speaker. I used to tell people that I was going to write a book about all of the useless knowledge that I know. My favorite thing to say is, did you know? And I had convinced myself that I was going to have a TED Talk one day. I would be pretty good at it. The only problem is I don't know what I'd talk about anymore. You know? How am I supposed to stand up there and tell people what I'm good at telling people when I suck at that? You know? I'm really good at telling people how. I'm just not, it's just like I can give you directions, but I'm not going. It's ridiculous. I feel like Alice in Wonderland. So I give really good advice, but I just very seldom take it. God has to know something about me that I don't. Because I don't know why I'm here or what I'm doing. I took care of my mom for a while after my little opioid, deal that I had. That was a long little deal though. It was like 11 years. And I started while I was still on opioids. I was taking care of her even then, but once I got okay, so I ended up going to jail, and I was in jail for 190 days, and that has a way of sobering somebody up, you know. And when I came out clean, I got home and she was sick, and I stayed with her, and then she got a little bit better, and she started seeing someone, and I started seeing someone, and I had been doing a lot of work on myself, you know, and I've been single most of my life, and I moved out, and I was in a relationship with a guy for about 2 years, and it went really bad, really, really bad. And it was very sudden. All of a sudden, everything wasn't okay anymore, you know? It's like everybody thought we had the perfect relationship, including me. He had to tell me, and then I didn't believe him, of course, because I should have believed him. Somehow I ended up staying. You know, I remember me and him had been fighting so much all the time, just every day it was something. And he kept telling me that he loved me, but like everything in me just told me, you know, he hates me. And it was like nothing I could do was ever good enough. And it wasn't like that at the beginning. It's just like all of a sudden he woke up one day and just was a different person. And I remember getting down on my knees one night before he got home from work. And I didn't even own a Bible. I was not what I would consider a Christian at all. I grew up in church, but like, it just is what it is. I don't have any excuse for it. I don't make the rules. But I remember I got down on my knees in my living room, in our living room, and I prayed. I asked God, I said, God, if I don't need to be here, if this ain't what it is, please just give me a sign. And that night he came home and he broke up with me. And he told me he was leaving me, which was funny because we was living in his house. And I just kind of lost it and broke down, I was just like, I can't believe this just happened, what timing that was, because it was same day delivery on that answer. So here's your sign, and somehow I ended up staying. I'm not sure exactly how that happened, but it was very short-lived, because 3 days later, I got a call from the hospital. My mother was there, and she had been in the hospital for a little bit already at that point, but they called me, with the news, and nobody else could take her. So it was either me or my mom was going to die in a nursing home alone. So I went and got her. And I told her, I said, we are going home, and you can either get better, and I'll be there, or you won't, and I'll still be there. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And I want you to know I've given birth to 4 human beings. Bringing them into this world is so much easier than watching them leave. That's just in general, people in general. It don't matter who it is. I ain't gonna say some of them probably don't hurt worse than others, but just watching people die is hard. And I took her home. I ended up still having the guy in and out of my life during that time. I moved back in with her on February the 3rd. She died on April the 23rd. That was the hardest most painful and traumatic, and just, it was really bad. You want to know what's bad? Is the majority of the pain didn't come from watching my mother pass. They say that when you have two really, really tragic things happen at the same time like that, that it is a catalyst. And it gave me CPTSD. I swear I can never say that right. And I'm already bipolar anyway, you know, I mean, like, I grew up a little different. I mean, like, the walls used to rattle in my house at night, you know, and my mama wasn't abused or anything. Like, my sisters and her they went at it constantly. They were teenagers fighting mom, you know, and I was like 5. So, I mean, like, it had a pretty big impact on my mental health, I'm pretty sure, and just that alarm's always going off, you know. It's crazy to me. But I stayed there and I watched her take her last breath. She went into a coma on Friday, and then she died Sunday morning at around 9:38 a.m. And I was standing right there with her. And then after that, I got done burying my mother. I had to move out of 2 houses. At that point, I couldn't ride in the car. My anxiety was so bad. When I did get in the car, I had to put my head down, usually in the center console, and I would hold on to him. It was so bad, man. I was so insecure. And it was all pretty much just from this relationship. I kept seeing him after I was told I didn't need to be there. Like, I got my sign. I should have listened, because he dragged me through the mud, man. I ended up moving in with my sister on May 31st. I didn't move back in with him. I stayed at my mom's, and I moved out of his house and out of her house and into my sister's house with her. Well, I stay with her, but I actually didn't move into the actual house until 6 months later. I was so stressed out all the time. My nerves were my nervous system just couldn't handle it. I was so anxious all the time. I ended up living in the basement by myself for about 6 months, and I stopped leaving the house at all. I just kind of camped out down there in my little bat cave. Yeah. And I go to church now, and that's about all I'd really do. I don't do anything else. It's a really big step up from where I was. I just got down on my knees that one time and asked for a sign. And I want you to know, he's been showing up in my life ever since. I mean, like, boldly, too. I mean, it's not subtle things. Like, it's in your face. God is in your face there. And looking back, like, he was always there. At the end of the day, I gotta thank my ex. I want to thank him, my mother, and all the bad things that ever happened to me in my life. Because I found my faith. Jesus had been holding on to it for me the whole time. Apparently, he had been waiting for me to come around so he could give it to me. All of that bad stuff from my past, everywhere that I've been, has been pushing me and preparing me to be here. I can't even really be mad. And I'm not. I've never had so much peace in my life. I cry every day, but I smile every day, and I am grateful every day. I don't know who I want to be next. Yes, I do. I just know what it requires. And I'm scared of being alone. People only love me on their terms, normally. And when I do this, it's going to cause a ruckus, I'm sure. And everybody's going to have their 2 cents. Because who am I, right? I don't know. But you know what? Jesus knows my name. So I gotta be somebody. Because I didn't go looking for him. When he found me, I was lost, chasing everything but him. He was very persistent. I just hope and pray that I can live up to that. Because that is terrifying. and I am terrified. But I'm going. I'm going. I don't know how I'm going to get there, and I don't know where to start. But I know I'm going to get there, and I'm going to be on time. Because if God hired me, who's going to fire me? If He is for me, who can be against me? I hope y'all enjoyed my little story time. Hopefully you got something out of it. I don't ever have anyone to talk to, so normally I'm just bouncing ideas off of something, like usually there's another person for you to throw your ideas at, and they're just like, you might want to leave that one in the closet, or that's a great one, So, do me a favor. I'm really honest. Don't judge me, please. I judge myself plenty enough. I don't need any convictions from you guys. I convict myself. And what I don't do, my Bible takes care of, I promise you. Last time I had sex, it called me a whore 47 times. I'm not even joking.